Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim, and this is another Real Ideal Gear Review. Today we're looking at a Pagani. This is the Pagani 1717. It looks an awful lot like the Longines Spirit, and you'll see that through all the photos, and if you look at comparisons between the two, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this watch has a lot going for it. I mean, just a ton going for it. There's some things about it that are not real good. We're going to go through that. We'll go through the 5 things that I typically look at, which are size, fitment, finish, accuracy, and then legibility and lume. So let's start with size. This is a lightweight watch. It's lightweight, baby. This watch fits really nice on the wrist. Overall size, it is a sport watch size. It is not a real big watch. It's not your typical diver watch, and you're certainly not your typical dress watch. So it's right in between that. So as far as the height off the wrist, nice proportions when it comes to height off the wrist, the coverage on the wrist. I really like the design of this watch when it comes down to the size and the proportions. The bracelet is kind of a lightweight bracelet. I'm not sure what kind of metal was used on the bracelet, but it just feels a little bit lighter weight as far as a metal bracelet goes. The overall case size is great. I'll put the size down here below. But as far as the proportions and fitting on the wrist, it's great. Sapphire crystal, so the height off the wrist, you're not going to get any scratches really of any significance on the crystal. So don't worry about that when it comes to the height off the wrist. Now, as far as fitment goes, it is a pin adjustment on the links. And easy to fix, easy to adjust. 3-position micro adjust means you have 2 available. So far so good. I've been able to fit it really well, and because it's lightweight and it fits really well, it is a joy to wear. As far as finish goes, this is where this watch is awesome. For the price, again, less than $80. For the price, I can't think of a better watch that looks this good. You have a real sunburst dial. It's blue indoors. Outdoors, it has kind of an iridescent green to it, which is kind of cool, actually. And it blue-green, it changes colors kind of depending on the light. Comes out as kind of a darker blue indoors with kind of that subdued light. Maybe it's the incandescent light bulbs changing the color a little bit, or fluorescent bulbs, whatever it is, but it has more of a blue look to it. The numbers on this are awesome. I love the way that the numbers are applied to this. The handset is really good looking handset. Very simple, clean dial. It has brushed case, but it has a polished bezel, so you get some of that contrast. There is, I believe, there's a little bit of polish on the corner of the case. I think it's chamfering, or the bevel edge of the case itself along the lug. So that there's just these little touches that make this watch just look outstanding. And I think it's because of the simplicity and the combination of all these things that really make this watch combine for a really great finish. As far as a finish goes, I really like the finish. The circular finish of the brushing on the top of the case is really interesting. If you look closely at it, there's a circular finish on the top, and then you have the horizontal on the sides of the case. I'm looking at the watch right now. I've got it on my wrist. So it's got just some really unique features to it. It's a Pagani, so let's not be comparing this to the actual thing that it's trying to emulate. It's just not going to do that. But for less than $80, let's give the evaluation accordingly. Okay. Accuracy. It has an NH35. It's, as far as the beat rate goes, it came in a little bit high. So I'm going to adjust that and see what I get. I've let it kind of sit. I've worn it a bunch. I've kept it wound, and I'm just going to see if there's any kind of like break in, or maybe just it wears through some of this stuff and gets a little bit more in tune with itself as far as accuracy goes. But if not, I'm going to probably adjust this one. So not a big deal on the accuracy side. No issues as far as wearing it and having a major change in how it keeps track of time. So that's been good. Legibility and lume. This is another combination back to finish. The legibility of this watch is great. Dark dial, really light numbers. The handset is great. The second hand, minute hand, hour hand, awesome. I love the design of them. Very simple. They're not too thin, but they're not too big either. So it has kind of almost an elegant look to it. So this sport watch really has, I think, could be a really good dress watch. It could hit both of those categories at once. Not a dressy watch, but on the dressier side of sport watch. This is in that second hour Mandela. You've got the Adamascus 88. Those are like your diver watches or sport watches that have kind of a dressy look to them, not just a straight up sport watch look to them. Water resistance is great. I believe it's 200 meters of water resistance. I'll make the correction if it's not, but I think it's 200 meters of water resistance, which is awesome because I don't have to worry about this thing as far as swimming, showering, long-term submersion in water if it happens to be that way. Even with, sweat and the oils and stuff that you get off your body from sweating, not a huge deal if you're out working or having a lot of fun and hot, sweat's just pouring off your arm, not an issue. Okay. Overall strength of this watch, it is an awesome looking watch. I love this watch. This might be the best buy as far as a sport watch goes that I've ever seen. I haven't seen all the watches out there, but this is very much, take a look at this one. If you're at all interested in it, it's worth a buy. I mean, come on, for less than $80 American, how can you go wrong with that? You have the NH35, solid movement. I might adjust this one. I'm letting it kind of break in a little bit to see what happens if it settles in. Maybe it gets a little bit better as far as accuracy goes, but I might have to adjust this one. The adjustment for the clasp, the 3 micro positions, that's a ding on that one. 3 is just not enough. 4, 5, 6, that's kind of my sweet spot. When it's just 2, and I say 2 because the third one is being used all the time. When you have 2 other adjustments, it just doesn't seem quite enough. There's just a little too much variability for me. One thing I didn't talk about on legibility and lume was the lume. It is poor. It's really almost in the bad category. The only other watch that I can compare this to that I've had was the Bodary Urban. That was horrible. This one is just barely above that. And so as far as lume goes, it'll last literally from the time that you charge it until you really can't read it very well, less than 10 minutes. It is just not going to last. There's no chance it lasts through the night. It's not going to last an hour. It won't last 20 minutes. So lume on this one is really a big ding as far as it goes. Just a little bit more lume on there, a little more quality lume on there would have been great. Almost a perfect 10 out of 10, but it's just not going to happen. This watch, in my opinion, is a 9.2 out of 10. Is it a recommend? Highly, highly recommend this watch. Just know that the lume is absolutely horrible. The rest of it is really good to very good. If the lume had been a little bit better, it'd be in the high 9s. I mean, this watch is close to perfection as far as a watch that's less than $80 on AliExpress. So there you go. This is the Pagani 1717. It's kind of that so-called Longines Spirit, I don't know, cousin. So take a look at it. I highly recommend it. I wear this thing all the time. This is actually one of my favorite looking watches. Love the colors. So there you go. My name's Tim. This has been another Real Ideal Gear review. We'll catch you guys next time.